Okay, so with Mother not feeling very good, I haven't been doing too many videos in a very long time. But here's something I had been wanting to do for a long time, but I haven't done a video on, and then I figure I might as well just show it. This is it's a facsimile of the actual Nobel Prize application that I have submitted to someone associated with the Nobel Prize. And in it, it's for educational purposes only. So, and I printed it up as a little booklet. And as I will go through and explain as I go through, this is I do not make many of these, but occasionally I have been giving some to Arcana Books in Arcana Gallery. Books. Yeah, it's Arcana Books in Los Angeles, in Culver City, and where I did my art show, which will be mentioned in here. You will see further, and there's something from Arcana is in here on this page. But this little booklet explains just a few of my many discoveries. And since I haven't put this online, you can freeze frame and then read some of those if you can get close enough. I'm not sure if you want to read, but this little booklet is made by me. And as I go through it, of course, it's for Mother, which all my work is. And it begins to explain many of the discoveries that I've made. For instance, King Tut's hat, which everybody knows is hat. And I was looking at that thinking, everything is supposed to be function specific. And what I've discovered, I realized I've seen this before, and then I was able to get sent to me some palm leaves, and I was able to duplicate exactly the King Tut hat in what. So it's just it was never anything religious until later, maybe, but at the time it was just used as a sun hat. It was probably some young kids climbing trees who were cutting down the leaves to help make rope, and one of them just made a hat. And the key here is at the bottom of the leaves, they curve in on both sides, and when you clip them, it lays out and you get the lapels. So it's due to, once you bend it at that, the outer leaves bend inward at this angle. So I'll have to do a whole video on explaining that, but that's basically going to be the Mickey Mouse ears of Egypt. The 5,000 years, nobody else has figured that out but me. But so if you can maybe freeze frame and see, you might be able to read some of that. And then on the next page, I have an explanation of, they were making rope in Egypt, and the hats that they show in Egypt. Oh, wrong page. Oh, and then King Tut, the beard is simply a woven version of the thing that we have to hold on your big hats, like cowboy hats. So if you can freeze frame, you can probably read this. So maybe freeze frame that, and you'll be able to read that, and that too. But what it is, and then I begin to explain how the hats of Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, and how they put together, and they have it here, and it's sitting. This one is sitting inside of the other one. It's kind of cupped in it, and I realized that, and it's explained in here. If you freeze frame, read that, and then freeze frame, and you can read that. I realized that everything is function specific, and what I realized is this is a rope making tool, and because I googled rope making tool, and what came up was was this, which the Boy Scouts and people still use today. And then the other piece is right there. So if you freeze frame, and you can read these. This one you may have to Google, and it's up there, and the young people have, they use it. And you can read the bottom if you freeze frame that, and that'll work. But what I found was these are rope making tools, just like I was showing you. This, and this are used together. This is a rope spinner. This is a rope splicer, and the two of them together, Upper and Lower Egypt. The reason they were invading the nations upriver was that they had run out of papyrus. Egypt had been making rope for the entire world at that point, and they were using the cheap scrub they had, the papyrus growing along the river, and then they were along the Nile, and they were pumping it into the Mediterranean. And basically they wired the world. They were supplying cheap rope. That's where all the gold was coming from. And that's why Alexandria became like this major port that everybody had to come to. So it's all explained in this tome. And I also, here's where I get a shot of that. You can freeze frame it and read it and read that. Okay, and I also explain things that they also had clear glass, which is in one of my videos, which I show lenses. I actually made actual lenses in the kitchen sink at mine and Mother's home. And so I explain all the advanced knowledge they had on navigational tools and things like this stuff. When you look at the little person holding the stuff, I made that, and I they say that is for doing stuff for navigating the stars, and I thought, well, what if it is a navigation tool? That's a little tiny statue they put in with the mummies. So I actually went and made one from these parts here. Turns out it's a Davis quadrant, invented in like the 1600s or 1500s. And here, if you want to read it, you can freeze frame that and read it.